Once upon a time there was a cat named Duma who lived in the storage room of a wealthy home. Duma was very proud of her name. It meant cheetah in Zulu, and it made her feel like a precious wild animal. She remembers overhearing some people back at the pet store saying that she actually looked like a cheetah, and that's why they named her after the beautiful endangered species. Duma had an easy life. She would spend her days trying to find the best spot in the room to take her long naps. She didn't have to worry about finding food. Once a day, her humans would bring her plenty of food through a teeny tiny cat door. Dry cat food. Duma wasn't very fond of the food, but she would eat it as she had no choice. She remembers hearing her human saying that this was the best cat food money can buy. It was nutritious and specifically formulated to keep cats pretty and healthy. But it was just too dry. Duma was a lonely cat. She would eat alone, play alone, and sleep alone. But she wasn't always living in isolation. When she was first brought home, she would sleep anywhere she wanted in the house. Sadly, that changed indefinitely on just the second week she was here. It was around supper time when Duma's superior senses brought to her attention that her humans were cooking pepper steak for dinner. So she naturally rushed into the kitchen to check on the quality of the beef. It's a common knowledge after all, and Farah and Andrea would endorse it 100% that top quality raw materials integrated with seasonal ingredients is fundamental in making edible food. The first strike came when she was kicked out of the kitchen. Duma was deeply hurt because she was denied her well-deserved right to supervise the food. Even one pepper cone can make all the difference. She was in agony, contemplating on what could go wrong when she realized that the steak was already being served. It didn't smell like much, and that was a frightening sign. And then, strike two. First, she realized that her plate was under the table, not on it, under it. And then she witnesses her food dropping down from above and splashing into her plate like dog food. There goes the presentation. She didn't even want to try it, but she did, and that almost killed her, literally. First, she choked. The flavors were overpowering each other. It was like a dogfight of tastes. The beef was of average quality, and it was well overdone. Enough was enough. She couldn't live like that. It was not worth it. Without a second thought, she ran, leaped into the air, and jumped out of an open window. On hindsight, it was a stupid idea. She panicked. Her sensitive palate just didn't handle it. You see, she never had to worry about the quality of her food with her previous human. He was an award-winning chef of molecular cuisine. 3 Michelin stars. The guy worked at a linear with grand accolades, for God's sakes. And Duma was by all means imperative to his success. She was his sous chef. No food was ever complete without her trying it and giving her approval. And it wasn't just how it tasted. Presentation was equally important. And now, her humans couldn't risk giving her any human food. They couldn't even risk letting her out of the room. She was lonely, and her sensitive palate was dying a slow, painful death. But she didn't hate her humans for that. She accepted her fate, as she knew that intelligence is the ability to adapt to change, or at least this is what she read in an article by Stephen Hawking. She didn't really know who that was, but she figured he must be very intelligent from his writing style. Time was passing by until one day something happened that changed her life forever. All of a sudden, she realized that she wasn't alone. There was a mouse in the room. She pretended she didn't see him at first, and as the unsuspected mouse was passing by, she leaped into the air and grabbed him. This could be the best meal she's had in months. Crunchy, bloody and moist. It would be like eating in a 3 Michelin star restaurant. But while she was about to wolf him down, she was stricken with a dilemma. She could keep Mr. Mouse and try to make friends with him to have a companion. Of course, she did read in an article by Deepak Chopra that the company you enjoy the most is your own, and that loneliness is the condition of feeling negative about your own company, and therefore requiring others to feel that inner lack. But still, a deep, meaningful relationship would have been really nice. She was drooling all over the mouse, but then again, she could use a friend. Maybe she could compromise and eat just a leg, and keep the rest for a friend. A leg, that's it, just one leg. And while she was sizing him up, trying to choose between his legs, divine intervention strikes just like in an ancient Greek tragedy. It was supper time, and when the little door opened, the usual bowl came through, but this time it wasn't filled with dry food. It was a nice, juicy piece of meat. It was a sign. She had to let the mouse go unharmed. So she went against her wildcat nature and did it. She freed the mouse. And of course, Mr. Mouse ran like hell and disappeared. He had to be somewhere in the room, though, and she just needed to find him, talk to him from the heart, and convince him to be friends. But first things first. She dug into her lovely piece of juicy meat with a feeling of contentment and hopefulness for the future.